Thank you, John. Yeah, my name's Einar Bolin. I'm formerly the Senior Policy Analyst at ARIN, and I'm currently the Government Affairs and Public Policy Analyst. And this is the Regional PDP report. Here we go. I'm going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to talk about some trends and proposals that you can see at the 5 RARs, and give you a couple highlights. 2011 saw at least 101 different proposals at the 5 RARs. And as you can see from this table, the biggest topic were numbers, V4 and V6 numbers. That was a big year with Diana exhaustion and proposals being written about the exhaustion, about how to deal with that, about soft landing, about and transfers as well were proposals back then. Year 2015, last year saw 41 proposals among the RARs, and it looked like maybe that was a trend. However, we have 25 unique proposals being discussed right now at the 5 RARs. That's just the first third of this year, so it looks like the number of proposals is going to go back up. And I did a little something different in 2016. I pulled out and I made a new category of transfers. I also went back to 2015 and looked at how many proposals were on transfers last year. It's interesting, there were 9 proposals on the topic of transfers last year, and there are already 10 this year. So that looks like that is an increase. That'll be an increasing curve, right? So some highlights at the different regions. This first item, on directory services, I think I mischaracterized it during a previous talk. The title of the proposal, and even though it was withdrawn, I wanted to close it out. The title was Registration of Detailed Assignment Information in WHOIS. So ultimately, this has been withdrawn. However, it is kind of interesting. One of the implementations of CGN, or carrier grade NAT, is to give the same IP address to multiple customers. And the way you differentiate your customers is by giving them a range of ports. Okay, so initially I thought this was about actually putting those customer records in WHOIS or somehow registering them, but that's not what this was about. It was simply about putting what the port ranges you could expect to see in these IP ranges would be. So for example, if you were going to give 32 ports to your customers from a block of IPv4 space, there'd be an indication that the port range size was 32. And the purpose, or the policy statement for this, was to facilitate filtering. So if you've got some traffic coming from an IP address, and you were an ISP, you didn't necessarily have to filter the entire IP address. You could target the port range and the IP address and maybe not hurt more people that are using that single IP address. So ultimately withdrawn. Other thing to note, question?
So just, hello? Jason Schiller, Google, ASOAC. So just to clarify, this was not recording which set of ports belongs to which customer.
I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to hear up here. Can you
slower and clearer?
Jason Schiller, Google. So this policy was not attempting to document which set of ports belongs to which customer.
Yeah, that's correct. It wasn't about identifying individual customers, just about what port ranges you could expect in a block of IP space. Right. Other highlight I have here is ASN policy. I think at all of the RARs, ASN policy has been pretty static for 20 years. You have unique routing policy or you're multi-homed. It's interesting, there's a proposal that has been actually adopted in the APNIC region, which just makes it a little easier to get an autonomous system number. And I happen to know that there's more discussion about autonomous system numbers coming up later today. References. All of the RARs have a landing page that shows you which proposals are in which states. They can be recently submitted, under discussion, advancing through the process, last call, soon to be implemented, abandoned, etc. Everybody does a really good job of documenting that. I'd also like to call out the policy comparison overview. which is a document on the Number Resource Organization website. It's a high-level look at the policies at all 5 RARs. So if you, for example, wanted to see what the basic IPv6 assignment policy is, or if each RAR had one, you could go to this document and find out that information. I've personally found this document to be very useful. It's updated quarterly, and that work is actually done by Adam Gosling, who's here from APUNIC. So I wanted to say thank you, Adam, for an excellent document and maintaining that document. That's my slides.
Any questions for Einar on the report? No? Thank you, Einar.